Hey friends, what is up? My name is Marisol, and for those of you who don't know me, I am a master holistic health coach, and I like to come on here live, chat with you, bring you into my life, into what I'm doing today, and share a little bit of some of the knowledge that I have acquired over the years, helping women over 40 and of many other phases of their life to lose fat, to reclaim their vibrant energy, and to feel really strong and powerful and confident in their skin by way of an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. And so today I am doing my thing and I'm meal prepping. This is kind of like a random time to meal prep. It's 5 p.m. here in Miami, but I'm in between transitioning out of some work and appointments, and I'm gonna do some self-care and do like a yoga class and do some walking and get some time outside and here in a bit. But right now, when I have these little pockets of time, I like to make use of them and to do a little bit of meal prep. So that way eating healthy is easy throughout the week and I can set myself up for success. So I would love to know what you do to make that process a little bit easier, or maybe what is most challenging for you when it comes to meal prepping, if you're somebody who's on a fat loss journey or someone who just wants to feel better in their skin. And I also just want to thank everybody who is here joining. My lovely sis, B, I love you so much and I miss you. And my beautiful niece, Gianna, I am so touched that they are watching right now, and I hope that this is inspiring them. I hope you guys are eating something yummy, and I would love to know what's on the dinner plans for tonight. So thank you for being here. Chef Veronica, how are you? Great to see you. I hope you're doing awesome. Julie, thank you so much for being here. And speaking of cooking, I actually just got off a podcast interview with one of my business friends. You guys should definitely go follow her, Soul Space Chef, Aaliyah, and she's in the cooking world also. And we just had such an amazing conversation about how powerful cooking is, how cooking is healing, and how we can really use it as a powerful action and a activity to not just get food on the table, but to really make the process of caring for ourselves, caring for our bodies, an enjoyable one, a creative one, a fun one. So I invite you to bring that energy into your cooking today as well. And let me tell you a little bit about what I'm cooking today. Super simple. One of my all-time favorite comfort foods, comfort meals, is a staple menu rotation, is my roast chicken, specifically my 2-day brined roast chicken. And it's so simple. You literally need 1 ingredient, 2 if you include the chicken, and 3 if you want to be a little fancy. But literally all you need is a whole chicken. And you can, it is very important, again, the quality of the chicken. And then you're going to need tons of salt, high quality salt. So I like to use kosher salt. You can also use like a thicker pink salt. But you don't want to do iodized salt. In general, I don't recommend using that or inviting that into your nutrition, just because you're going to be missing out on so many nutrients. So with a really high quality salt that's thicker, it will help to give tons of flavor to the chicken. And that's it. So I'll show you the other items that you're gonna need as well, but it's so simple. That's why I love this, and it literally comes out perfect every time. You're gonna basically coat the entire chicken inside and out with tons of salt. I do also have a little bit of pepper that I've mixed in here, just coarse black pepper. And what it does is when you leave it overnight, I like to do up to 2 days, but you can also do just a few hours if that's all you have time for, or just 1 day. The longer the time, the better the flavor, and it will just kind of make this chicken extra juicy, full of flavor, and most importantly, give you that incredible crunchy skin. I was missing the word that we're all looking for, right? I have been trying to perfect the roast chicken for so many years, and we had tried all these fancy methods and the seasonings and the wet brines and the lemon. Keep it simple. All you need is a ton of salt, a little bit of pepper, a good quality chicken, and you're good to go in a little bit of time. So this is also a way that's gonna save you a lot of time in the moment, because once this is ready to go in a couple days, all you have to do is take out your chicken, pop it into a really hot oven, and then enjoy a delicious, really comfort food And there's so many benefits also to eating a protein with the bone in. You get so many extra benefits from the collagen and flavor, and you can use those juices for a sauce or a gravy. You can use it to flavor your veggies, and you can even save the carcass, which I love to do, of the chicken itself, and then repurpose that into a homemade bone broth, which is fabulous for your gut health, your immunity. I think we talked a little bit about that on another live. So that's what we're doing, and let's dig into a couple things here. So I'll tell you a bit about the chicken. So this is an organic chicken. Love Costco. Like I said, these come in a pack of 2, and then what I do is I just freeze them and then I take it out. It does take a couple days to thaw, so you want to keep that in mind. In general, you definitely want to exclusively buy your protein organic. And if possible, if you have more information, you want to make sure that it's pasture raised, which means that the animal itself has had a really good upbringing. It was fed a healthy quality diet as opposed to a lot of garbage, fattening items, even candy. Who knows what they're feeding these other animals. It's sad that they're not pumped with hormones and other medicines or sick. So when you're buying organic, you can feel a lot more confident knowing the quality in your protein, because that's the quality that your body's gonna get, and you wanna give yourself the best, of course. And then that's it. So we're gonna kind of do the rest from here, but that's the beauty of it, is it's minimally processed, so there's no other ingredients in here, obviously. I just take a steak knife and then I get in here, free it from the packaging. And then when you're doing this as well, you want to make sure that you've also prepped a couple other items. So what I already do beforehand is I prep my salt, because I don't want to have my hands all contaminated and then not have my salt ready and get like everything all touched. I told you guys how I'm kind of a germaphobe when it comes to cooking. So I also do all of this on my stove top so that I don't mix around things. It's important to stay clean, hygienic. So I have my salt already, and then I also have my sheet tray that I've prepared. So it's just a little sheet tray. It's the smallest one that we have, and I line it with a little bit of aluminum foil just because juices tend to go everywhere. And then I also put another layer of parchment paper, because when I'm actually cooking it, I want it to only be on the parchment. I try to stay away from cooking on foil just due to the toxicity of it, and it's just something you want to be aware of and try to avoid. And that's that. That's all you're going to really need. Oh, and also some paper towels. You will need that. So I'm just going to have those off to the side. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Let's see. What's up, John? Good to see you guys. I want to take a look at the comments. And looks like you guys have your own healthy meal plans that you're following. That's awesome. And I'm hearing that maybe one of the tough parts of meal prep is dedicating. It's hard to make that time as a mom. Absolutely, I totally understand that. Even on the weekends when time is limited. Yeah. So that's why it's so important to have a system, right? Every season of your life is going to look different. Sometimes you may have more time to prep versus others. And sometimes, meals are going to just be really simple and repetitive, and that's what it has to be. So I invite you to, brainstorm what are some of those really delicious meals that maybe give you a lot of joy, or maybe that are more fun to prepare, and brainstorm them and write them out on like a journal. That's something that I do. I typically do it on a notes, on the notes app on my phone. And on a Sunday or even on a Monday, depending on what your schedule looks like, just kind of brainstorm, what are you feeling in the mood for, based on the seasons, based on what veggies are in season, what you're feeling like you're wanting to eat. Maybe if your family has something special that they've been requesting, that would be something fun to kind of keep in mind. And then how can you make it as easy on yourself as possible? Is it preparing the proteins a couple days in advance, or prepping like some of the sides, like your veggies or your carbs ahead of time, so that way maybe you only have to work on the protein? There's so many different ways that you can work around it. Or even depending on how little time you have, buying some of it pre-made depending on what it is, and then filling in the gaps with something homemade. So maybe not everything has to be from scratch, and I'm a huge fan of that as well when it comes to especially like sauces or different condiments. Little additions that you can make can be a huge game changer. So, by the way though, you are doing amazing. My sister is tough on herself. She cooks incredible meals. Every time I come over, she's always cooking something. She crushes it. I think one of my favorites that my sister makes is her marinated chicken and her chimichurri, which she taught me how to make, and it is so delicious. She's also amazing on the grill, which I have not mastered that myself. We don't have a grill here. I would love one. So she's doing amazing as a new mom. And little G, my beautiful niece, is reaping the benefits. She's getting all of her proteins in. I know she loves her mama's cooking. So what I'm doing right now is I took the chicken out, and this one you always want to check. It's still a little frozen, but you want to check the cavity to make sure that if there are any giblets, is that what they call, like the heart and things like that, that they are removed, and I believe they are. One time though, I did not check fully, and I actually baked the whole chicken with the bag. It was kind of gross. It ended up being fine. We still ate it because I mean, what else were we gonna do? But you want to just be sure. It's still very frozen, so my hands are cold. But what I do is I just kind of like rip off any extra big pieces of fat that we don't need, or if there's like little feathers, I'll try to pluck those off. But I will be honest, it is still a little frozen, so it's a little hard to get in there. I don't believe these have the bags of giblets in there, so we're not going to worry about that. But what I would focus on right now is you use a bunch of good paper towels, and I want to get this as dry as possible. It's probably not going to be perfect because there is a little bit of excess liquid still, and that's all right. We are all about just getting things done here. You do what you can with the resources that you have available, and we're not going to let that stop us from getting our meal prep done. So I'm just using these paper towels, and I'm just blotting all the way around, just getting it as dry as possible. That is going to help this brining process. Okay. It's a pretty nice sized bird. Trying to think of some other tips that I think would be important for you to know. This, I want to say it's around, let me check exactly. Wow, this is 9.7. Oh, no, this was for 2. So this is going to be about like a little over 4 pounds. And this is going to give you many meals. So that's another benefit here, is that not only are you prepping this in advance, but one meal could last you for many. So you eat this fresh, delicious, carve it like it's turkey day, but enjoy your roast chicken. And then you can use the leftovers for all kinds of other meals. You can throw it in cold on a salad. You can use your leftover roasted chicken and just reheat it and eat it as is with other sides. You can use it in a soup. You can make chicken salad. So it really, the sky's the limit when it comes to your leftovers here, and you definitely will. But for me and Kevin, this typically will give us, I would say, 1.5 meals each, because we do eat a lot of it. And so you just want to keep that in mind with, the size of your family or who else that you're cooking for and how much you guys like to eat. Okay, so I have that as dry as it's gonna get, and I'm just kind of making a little pile. All of my chicken stuff is going in one area. Sorry, this is a little difficult to see. It's a little bit better like that. Okay, so now I have my salt and my seasonings. You could put more seasonings in here. I just don't want to deal with more complications, and I really just like the straight up salt. I think I use a lot of other seasonings like garlic, onion, turmeric, paprika, and we talked about that in another one of my lives, how awesome spices are and how powerful they are, especially for anti-inflammation. I will probably end up doing something with those on the sides, but for the chicken itself, I just want it like nice and clean, simple, and I'm gonna just use salt. So I'm just gonna go with big handfuls, and this is where you do not wanna be shy or chintzy at all with the salt. Don't be afraid of the salt. I'm gonna coat the entire chicken with the salt, all surfaces, and like rub it in a little bit because it's gonna kind of fall off the skin, especially since we dried it. And don't be afraid that you're over salting it, because for one, when you are ready to roast it, you could wipe some of it off. I've never done that myself. I personally really I appreciate the salt in life. I like things saltier, but it's not gonna be like salty. It will mellow out, and maybe a chef, you know, from a restaurant could give us a better explanation of how all that works, but it doesn't get overly salty. I don't know what to tell you. So don't be shy. Go hard on your salt and make sure you're getting like all the areas, like the little wings, rub it in. Never mind the Star Wars Band-Aid. I don't know what's been happening. The past couple weeks I've been cutting myself nonstop. I've just been clumsy. Little things here and there, not even in the kitchen, just on random things. So sometimes it's just what happens. And then make sure, this is key, once you get that first surface of your chicken, you want to stand it up, open the cavity as much as you can. Again, mine is there's still like little snowflakes in there. And then you want to season inside of the cavity as well, because you want everything to have flavor. And then it's a little hard for me to go all the way down, but you want to massage it inside of the cavity as well, so that way it's totally incorporated. Pick out some of those little feathers. And again, notice how when I'm coming on and we're doing these meal preps, everything is protein focused, and that's for a reason. This is the most important part of whatever you are cooking, whatever you're meal prepping. The star is the protein. So if you can put your energy and your effort into making that protein plentiful, like you want to have a lot of it because you need a lot of it, and making it taste as delicious as possible, don't you think that's going to help you eat more of it? You're going to look forward to it, you're going to be excited to eat it. And that is the goal, because when we eat more protein, it does so many good things for us. It's going to help you to lower your blood sugar levels and keep them more stable. That on its own is not only going to help you lose fat, but it's also going to help you regulate your mood, your energy better, stay satisfied longer, not have those cravings or want to reach for the extra snacks because like something is missing. If you just have that solid foundation with protein, that is a game changer. And then on top of that, if you're somebody who's also looking to build muscle mass and you want to have that toned and lean look, you have to have enough protein in order for that to come true. It's just not going to be enough to keep pushing yourself in the gym and to lift those weights. That is amazing and that is required. And your protein and how you're eating and building out those meals is really going to be the difference maker on if you see the full results. And so I want that for you. So make sure that you're getting in all that protein. And I had a full container here of salt. I'm pretty much done with it. And I'm just gonna put the rest on there. So if you're wondering how much salt, it's gonna be, I would say at least a tablespoon and a half, maybe 2, depending on how big your bird is. And then again, I'm just kind of like going around the sides. Anything that's fallen off, I'm gonna just press in, wipe my chicken around. It's also the benefit of having this parchment is that it's just easy to work with. And that's it. I just did my meal prep and we're chatting here, but it really didn't take me more than maybe 15 minutes altogether. So all I'm gonna do now is I'm just going to put a little bit of plastic wrap on this just so that nothing else in the fridge touches it. And then I'm gonna put it into the lowest shelf of my fridge, so that way if there's any drippage, nothing else is getting touched. Leave it for 2 days. If you want to be extra credit, after 1 day, flip it just so that way it gets, all of the extra liquid can drain from it. And then when it's time to cook in a couple days, I'm gonna set my Breville air fryer smart oven, which is basically like a convection oven, to really high heat, about 425. And then it's going to cook for 20 minutes. Then I'm gonna flip it, another 20 minutes, and then it might be done. And if it still needs a little bit of extra bit of cook time, then maybe 10 more minutes. But typically in about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on your chicken size, you should have a perfectly crisp, delicious chicken. And then you can serve it with a salad. I like to keep, all my sides super light because this is very decadent. It is higher fat because of the wonderful skin, which yes, you should be eating. It's so good for you, especially when you're buying a good quality piece of meat. And then maybe like a carbohydrate like rice or potatoes, something really delicious, whatever sounds good to you. So that is it, you guys. I want to see if we have any other comments. So good to see you too, John. And oh my gosh, Gabriel, good to see you too. Yes, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know this was short and sweet, but I just kind of want to keep popping on here, showing you a little bit behind the scenes. I hope it inspired you, and Mondo also. And I wish you guys a beautiful rest of your Tuesday. Let me know what you're cooking, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.